Chapter 2: Generating a research idea and developing a research proposal. The idea, decide direction, your research journey, inspiration, involve the process of formulating, clarifying, and reformulating your research ideas until it becomes a accessible and focused, overreaching research question. তো যেই পর্যন্ত আইডিয়া জেনারেশন করা লাগবে, যেই পর্যন্ত না আইডিয়াটা কমপ্লিট হয়ে যায় এবং আইডিয়াটা হচ্ছে একটা ক্লিয়ার অবজেক্টিভ থাকে, এটার জন্য ক্লারিফাইং করা লাগবে, বারবার রিফরম্যাটিং করা লাগবে, কারণ একবার শুরু করলে আবার চেঞ্জ করা টিডিয়াস। তাহলে ক্যারেক্টারিস্টিক অফ গুড রিসার্চ আইডিয়া: অ্যাপ্রোপ্রিয়েটনেস, কেপাবিলিটি অ্যান্ড ফুলফিলমেন্ট। অ্যাপ্রোপ্রিয়েটনেস, রিকোয়ারমেন্ট অফ এক্সামিনার ফুলফিল করবে, নিড টু চেক অ্যাসেসমেন্ট ক্রাইটেরিয়া ফুলফিল, theory, role of theory. uh, you have to have some idea about the theory. Theoretical context, what is the context of the idea you are willing to work on, and fresh theoretical insight, it should be something new. Don't claim that the idea is both completely new and worthy of research. Normally it's not. Your idea is new, exciting, and no one has ever thought of it, let alone researched it. Your idea has been researched before, and you have been searching for a literature about it in the wrong place. Your idea has no worth, and that is why it has not been researched up until now. These are the big disappointment of a idea that could be new, but what could be that is new and exciting, and no one has thought of it until now. So you are doing something really innovative. Then it could be that your idea is researched before, and you can researching literature in the wrong place. uh, uh, because you didn't know the search term for it, but it has been researched and your idea is not worth. That is why it has not been researched until. Capable and undertaking, so capability is capable to undertaking, feel comfortable, research skills, availability to find time and financial resources as to undertake the research, feasibility, gaining access, and more sensitive topics. So you should be capable of undertaking the research, feel comfortable undertaking it. Your research skills should be appropriate for it. You shouldn't need a skill that you couldn't achieve within the time frame of the research. Ability to find time and financial resources to undertake the research, feasibility, you're gaining access as of key resources and papers, and more sensitive topics. Fulfillment, associated with development opportunity, whether the research excites your imagination or genuine interest for future inspiration. So characteristics of a good research idea: does the idea fit the specification and meet the standards set by examining institutions? Does the idea contain issues that have been clearly linked to theory? Are you able to state the overreaching research questions, research aim and research objectives, or full investigating questions clearly? Will the proposed research be likely to provide fresh insight on into this topic? Are the findings likely to be symmetrical, that is, of similar value, whatever the outcome? Do you have or can you develop within this project time frame necessary skills to undertake the research capability? Is the research achievable within the available time? Is the research achievable within the financial resources likely to be available? Are you reasonably certain that being able to gain access to data is likely required for the research? Fulfillment, does the research idea really interest and motivate you? Will the research help to the achievement of your future aspirations and career goals? The idea fit the specification and meet the standard set by examining institutions. So first of appropriateness is all about is it right for your institution and is it right for you? Generating research ideas, rational thinking techniques being based on symmetrical approach, creative thinking techniques favoring individual preference, continuous ideas, rational thinking, creative thinking, rational thinking techniques, examining your own strengths and interest and academic knowledge. So, what areas have you got the best marks in, and what that area is where you have likely greater academic knowledge about? Examining academic staff interest, visit web page of scholar page, identify particular research interest, and list the publication and conference center. So you are here, you can go to a website and see what is his prior work, what is his interest. So here you can see analyzing inequalities across racial, gender and hierarchical groups, looking past projects titles. So you can draw new ideas from past projects, are a useful way to generating research ideas for undergrad and master's degree. These are called dissertations for undergrad and taught master's degree. These are called dissertations for research degree that are termed these days. Based on this you can think of generating ideas. Discussion, colleagues, friends and university tutors are potentially good sources of possible research ideas. Project tutors will have ideas, possible student projects, talking to people who have direct experience in a topic may include managers and other professionals. Searching existing literature, relevant literature, academic, and peer-reviewed academic journals, academia.edu, ResearchGate, browsing journals, and using available research facilities help you identify possible research ideas, gaps, spotting. Articles in trade and professional journals, reports, books, and e-books. Scanning the media, news can be very good sources of idea online of traditional print version. Creative thinking techniques. So creative thinking technique, keep a notebook of your ideas. Nothing, note down interesting idea, you can think of them. Exploring personal preferencing using past projects. What do you like in general about the project? What do you like? The why do you like the project? Which ideas of the project appeal to you? What do you dislike in general about the project? What do you dislike? Why do you dislike the project? Which ideas project do not appeal to you? A tool to generate new ideas is structured hierarchical method used to break down broad topics or problems into increasingly specific and relevant components. Start with a broad concept which you realize further for more specific topics. Each of these topics forms a separate branch from which you can generate more detailed sub-branches. Brainstorming, problem-solving techniques used to generate and refine research ideas. Individual or group. Defining the problem, asking for suggestions, then recording the suggestion, reviewing the suggestion, analyzing suggestion. So you have a lot of suggestion. Not all of them would be good, but some of them would be good. Then let's brainstorm. Brainstorming techniques. How would you develop a research idea, entrepreneurship, innovation? This was a class work. Then developing your overreaching research. So in a classwork you could perhaps make a eatable food from fish scales, which is very popular in Japan. Developing your overreaching research question, and overreaching research question will allow you to say what the issue problem is that you wish to study, and what the research project will seek find out, explain the answer. Center of the project, influence other steps. Questions may be exploratory, descriptive, explanatory, or evaluative. Begin with include either what, when, where, who, why, how, what extent. Research question will allow you to say what the issue problem is you wish to study, what the research project seek, find out, explain the answer. Center of the project, influence other steps. So questions in the explanatory center. Writing a research. Brief statement of the purpose of the research project, written as sentence stating what you intend to achieve. A cyber vetting predicts person's environmental fit and competence in post-pandemic graduate recruitment. The brand equity assesses the impact of brand equity on customer trust, value, and loyalty. Relations in media campaign following a series of product recalls. To explore and explain the relation between cyberneting, cyber vetting, and the graduate person environment fit and competence in the post-pandemic recruitment. Does couponing affect motivation to purchase product in supermarkets? To what extent a small business startup borrow decision influenced by the owner's need for independence? To establish the impact of supermarket company on buyers' motivation, to examine the extent of which small business startup borrowing decisions affect the owner's need for independence. Research objective and investigation question. Research objectives allow you to operationalize your questions, state the steps you will take to answer it, offer clear specific statement. Criteria: transparency, the meaning of clear and ambiguous. Specificity, the purpose is clear and easy. The what? Relevance, why am I doing this? This links to aim and overreaching research question whether research project is clear. The interconnectivity, taken together, as I said, the research objective and the investigation questions outline the steps the research process from start to its conclusion without leaving any gaps in which they form a coherent whole. Complete the research question. Okay. Answerability. Will this be possible? Where shall I obtain the data? The intention outcome of achievable when they relate to data nature of the data required to be clear or at least impact. Measurability, when will it be done? The intention and that outcome will be evident when it will be achieved. Transparency, specificity, relevance. So you must be transparent, it must be specific. So specificity, it must be relevance, as interconnectivity, it should be answerability and measurability. So this is smart, smart. So there is no m here, measurability, so interconnectivity will have to do. And oh, measurability is there. So smart and also I is here. Theory, systemic body of knowledge that grounded the empirical evidence which can be used to explanatory predict purposes. The explanatory power of theory is based on its availability to explain relationships between concepts, explain relationships, predict power, guides research. So it explains the relationships, predicts the power, and predictive power. It has the power to predict what will going to happen and guide the research. Why theory is important? Theory is the backbone of the research, scientific research. It helps us make the sense of the world and guide us to investigate it. It provides framework for research. It offers structure, builds and advanced knowledge. The need for research proposal. Protocol or outline. It is the structured plan of your project. Provide a clear specification to guide your research project, ensuring assessment criteria to be met, coherence, ethical consideration, feasibility. Ensure that your research project is not based on preconceived ideas. Preconceived ideas থাকবে না, feasibility থাকবে, ethical থাকবে, coherence থাকবে, coherence, the need for research purposes, ensuring assessment criteria is provide clear, specific guidance for your research project, protocol, structure plan. Have I explained what I am going to do? Have I explained why I am going to do this? Have I said why it is worth doing? Have I explained how it relates to the research? Have I explained one thing to do, what said why is worth doing? Explain how it relates to the research and has been done before the subject area. Have I started which story theory or the theories will inform what I am doing? How will it use them? Have I stated the overarching research questions? Have I outlined how to conduct my research? Have I and how my research design? Have I outlined what the data I need? Have I stated who is the where I intend to response participants are? Have I select my respondents or participants? Have I explained how I will gain access? Have I outlined how I collect my data? And how I analyze the data? See, how have I considered ethical issues? Have I outlined how I will address this? Structuring research proposal. Title, background, overarching research questions and overarching research questions and is objectives, investigative method, time scale, methods, time scale, research references. Introduced in reader to the research issues problem, provide rationale for overarching research problems and aims. Ground your research in the academic literature, demonstrating how research relates to relevance previous research. You will also be able to begin how to show which theory or theories will inform you that by doing so they will be used. Introduce the research to the research issues or problems. Provide rationale for your overarching research problem and aim. Background ground your research in academic literature, demonstrating how your research relates to relevant previous literature. You will also be able to begin to show which theory or theories will inform what you are doing and show how to do it. So background includes why are you doing this research, your motivation, and also you will have descriptions about various previous research and talk about how your research connect to those was provides filling gaps over them or something you have found that will contribute to explain them. Time scale: divide the research project into stages tasks. You may estimate the amount of time stages tasks will take. Grand chart: visual representation of the stages tasks that make up research project. Time allocation. So develop a research project, literature review, then develop a questions for data collection, then pilot study, your primary study, then data collection, data analysis, write it first draft, write it final draft, and write dissertation, submit for dissertation. A resources, facets, or feasibility, whether what you are proposing can be research initial may be categorized financial data process. Literature resources which you have referred in the background section and relate to previous work.